Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Shail Bhatnagar this side. A very warm welcome to you all on market today. It's Tuesday, as also Hanuman Jayan Utsav. So greetings to all those who believe in Gyan, Gun and Bhakti. Let's look at how the markets are structured, and in front of you, you have the daily chart of the Nifty. As all of us know in some detail, the Nifty closed 190 points higher at 22,336 on Monday. This was the second day of consecutive gains, and bulls on Dalal Street are getting stronger in terms of confidence and in terms of their ability to turn the tide higher. So at 22,336, the index was about 1% higher. It closed at its day's high, and this was the second consecutive day of gains. So I am presuming that given the flat trends that are coming in from the gift Nifty, this is going to be a consolidating day as far as gains on the Nifty are concerned. If you look at the daily chart on the Nifty for a slightly longer term, you will notice that Friday's low was 21,787. So let's round it off to 790. So from 790 to 22,336, it's a run up of roughly 500 points, and this is something that needs to be digested before the Nifty moves even higher. The Bank Nifty itself shut shop at 47,924. It was a gain of 350 points. Again, the same strength gets resonated on the Bank Nifty as well. Now let's look at the geopolitical setup. Let's look at how overseas events are impacting Indian equities. There is no doubt that Nifty's trend is up, and it's being helped by easing geopolitical concerns. It's being helped by strong rally that was seen on Wall Street yesterday night, and it's being helped by a lot of sustained buying at lower levels on a domestic basis, as also a decent amount of short covering. We'll analyze all of these trends one by one. Let's look at easing geopolitical tensions, and you need to look at only two charts. One is the chart of gold, that's right there in front of you. As you can see, gold has fallen off substantially. It is one of the most potent indicators of where fear is globally, and ebbing of gold prices points to easing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. The second chart to see is crude oil prices. They have slipped down again, and therefore from a recent peak of $92, now they are below $85. That's a dip of about 7.5%, and that's very beneficial for a country such as India, which imports about 85% of its crude oil requirements. So positive geopolitical moves coming in from overseas, a strong rally on Wall Street, very good sentiment on Dalal Street as far as bulls are concerned, will ensure that Nifty's trend is up. Now this is what the broader picture is as far as the macro is concerned. Now let's look at the micro part. I'll draw your attention to the Nifty options chart. Very strong support coming in at 22,300 as far as put writing is concerned. About 63,635 fresh puts were added at 22,300. That essentially means that bulls are increasingly strengthening their hold over 22,300. The index, as you know, shut shop at 22,336 yesterday. So strong support at 22,300 by the bulls, and a very strong bout of short covering is happening in ITM calls, which essentially means calls that are between 2100, 21,000, 21,050, 22,000, so on and so forth. So there are bears who are taking their positions away. That essentially means that all those levels are being strengthened by the bulls for the short term. Therefore, you see this intense short covering in ITM calls that will again benefit the bulls. So this is the commentary as far as the Nifty is concerned. The daily chart of the Bank Nifty is also right there in front of you. A lot of interesting developments happened on the Bank Nifty over the last 2 or 3 trading sessions. If you see how Bank Nifty is positioned, it is now above all its major and small resistances, and that's a very welcome relief. From a low of 46,580 on Friday, the index has appreciated to 47,924. So that's easily a 1,300 point rally, which the index will now absorb for the next 1 or 2 sessions and then possibly move higher. On the Nifty Bank, the move was from a 100-day exponential moving average and a 1-month low. So that also further strengthens this hard base that we made on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty over the last two trading sessions. So a consolidative move on Bank Nifty coupled with the strength that is coming in on the Nifty should hold the bulls as far as sentiment is concerned on good stead. Now what else am I looking at? Yesterday evening there was an announcement from Reliance Industries about its quarterly earnings. Remember, Reliance is the second heaviest weighted counter on the Nifty, the highest profit making company on Dalal Street. All of these put together have made it a strong stock to watch. The daily chart of Reliance will also be right there in front of you. Let's look at some brokerage reports that have come in as far as Reliance is concerned, and there have been a series of upgrades coming in from Reliance Industries. We'll start with Bernstein. They've given an outperform call on India's largest company by sales, largest company by profit, and of course the largest company in the telecom and the retail as also the oil to chemical space. Reliance has been given a target of 3,160 per share as far as Bernstein is concerned. Their reasons are that it was a 20 basis point beat that came on fourth quarter consolidated EBITDA to about 42,500 crores, which is in itself an increment of about 14% year on year. The fourth quarter beat was driven by a strong performance in exploration and petrochemicals business, as also the oil to chemicals growth. Similarly, Morgan Stanley has given an overweight call on Reliance Industries. The target is slightly lower than Bernstein, but still 3,046 as far as Morgan Stanley is concerned. Jefferies also has a buy call on Reliance Industries. It maintains its buy call and it raises the target to further higher, 33.80. Let's look at what Reliance shut shop yesterday as far as Dalal Street is concerned. You saw a decent uptick of about 1.5%, and the counter was at 29.59 on Monday evening. The all-time high on Reliance Industries is 3,024. You saw that on 4th of March. So we are very close to there, and if you look at brokerage reports, they are pretty enthused with what Reliance is as far as market is concerned. Very shortly we'll be joined by Mr. Dharmesh Kant. He's the head of equity research at Cholamandalam Securities. Apart from Reliance, there are a couple of stocks which I have on my radar, and one of them is Indus. It's been given an upgrade to buy by CLSA, another very well known brokerage, and the target has been raised to 450 rupees from 335 rupees. The very strong response that you got from the follow-on public offer of Vodafone Idea, which is a customer of Indus, is seen as a very good development for Indus Towers, because a lot of outstanding payments from Vodafone Idea are due to Indus, and therefore those payments should come in, and therefore you see a very strong price uptick on Indus. The target has been raised. Okay, Mr. Dharmesh Kant has joined us, and let's listen to his views. Namaste Dharmesh ji, and a very warm welcome to you on Market Today. Greetings on Hanumant Jayant Utsav, and how do you see sentiment on Dalal Street? About a 1300 point rally on Bank Nifty over the last two sessions, and an equally strong response on Nifty. How do you think sentiment is poised on Dalal Street?
Yeah, namaste Shail ji. Hanuman Jayanti ki aapko bhi काफी शुभकामनाएं. See, sentiments are actually very strong on the Dalal Street. People, I mean, the fear factor was also is really high. So any fear thesis coming into play leads to a spurt of taking happening to the scenario. But having said that, let's not forget the liquidity surge continues to remain unabated. So be it through mutual fund or through FIs or through HRIs, they all are just inquiring about any investment opportunity in the buying list. So that query, I mean, the last what I remember, because since I started my career in 2003 was 2006-7 kind of a year when such kind of a frenzy was there into buying of investment ideas. So that remains as it is. So I think any opportunity, meaningful decline, I mean, 1,000 points on a Nifty is just 4-5%. but it appears to be a big decline and the surge is high. So I think this should be bought into unless something significant happens, so which doesn't look like, given the containment of geopolitical situation and all these things are very contained because the world cannot afford to go for a outright war kind of scenario. So that is playing out, and any company which is coming out with good results are being lapped into.
Okay. Dharmesh, before we get into the nitty-gritties of how Reliance earnings were, are there any specific stocks that you have in mind which you can share with our viewers in terms of creating decent medium-term capital gains in the market?
Yeah, I mean, very near term, if you are looking for 1 to 3 month kind of a scenario, I think metals still have a very decent outplay to be there. And in metal, I mean, steel basket like JSW Steel, Tata Steel looks very attractive, Hindalco looks very attractive from direct metal play. If you want to play the iron ore theme, NMDC is there from power sector and a larger diversified play to the energy is the Coal India. So this basket looks very attractive for a very near term perspective. Apart from that, the thesis of railway infra, defense, power playing out to the potential in next 3 to 4 years remains as it is. So any declines out there should be important too. And look at the stock price of RBNL or Incom. They have not corrected at all. Whatever they have done is consolidation in a zone of in this market correction. So RBNL Ircon looks very attractive from the railway infra play and from the defense side. HL. I mean, I have no, I mean, doubts in my mind that if you are going to hold this stock for the next 3 to 4 years, it's a doubler even from here. So HL is on a very strong trajectory, so that should be bought into any declines. And a small cap stock, which is likely to be a mid cap in the near term, is DCX system. We did an initiating coverage a few months back, and it has been doing well. Even in this correction, the stock did not budge after our report was through. So that one can look into, and it's a major supplier to Israeli defense companies. So that's a catch point out there. So these are the few stocks we should be looking into for accumulation from a long-term portfolio perspective.
Okay, so these are the sectors specifically railways, metals, as also the defense pack, where medium-term outlook remains strong as far as Dharmesh ji is concerned. Dharmesh ji, let's address the elephant in the room, and that's the fourth quarter performance of Reliance Industries. Of course, data is pretty well known across the board, but let me, for the benefit of our viewers, highlight a couple of numbers that have come in as far as Reliance is concerned. If you look at the quarterly performance of the fourth quarter, net profit was at 21,243 crore rupees versus 17,265 crore rupees. As far as the comparison is concerned, it has beaten estimates. Margin has slipped a bit to 18% from 18.06% for the fourth quarter. There has been a very sharp increase in EBITDA, as also revenue stood at about 2.37 lakh crores versus 2.25 lakh crores. That was the numbers that have been put in by Reliance Industries. Rameshji, Dharmeshji, your initial thoughts on such record performance?
Reliance is charting its own trajectory, and if you look at Reliance, it also speaks about our country because it's so much diversified and the various verticals which has been doing well. Also speaks about the economic health of the country, how it has been going. And why I say so, because most of its new age businesses or the new businesses which Reliance has poured into, it's just 3 or 4 year old. And see how Reliance Retail has picked up, or Reliance Geo has picked up in a way. Even Geo Financials, which they have now demerged, is doing particularly well in 1 year kind of a profit chart. They have been charting out. So this is likely to continue, and I look at Reliance from a SOTP kind of a valuation. So 1 year target was 3,200, where it is almost there. But if you again, it's like a play. If you are holding it for 3 to 4 years, it's again a doubler. Considering the fact that value unlocking, sorry, value unlocking through different business verticals, be it Geo, that is the telecom division or the retail division, is still to happen. So that's still, forming the base out there. 40 to 15% kind of an overall profit trajectory is very good for Reliance, considering the size at which it is scaling up. And Geo finances Geo, the catch point is the 5G rollout which they have done, where they have added almost 10 crore kind of a new subscriber. The tariffs have still not been high, so they are still in that honeymoon phase where you just to get your customers, you give them the freebies. So once those freebies are over, the ARPUs are going to increase significantly from 181.7 to near to 200 kind of a base, where Bharti and all is doing the business out there. So once that happens, there will be again a catapult jump in the profitability of the Geo division. So very good play. O2C, I mean, it's cyclical in nature. It depends upon the prices of oil. So that and the gas production which comes into play. So that division still we are not valuing it much. Our own sense is over 3 years period, the retail and Geo and the new energy business which they are now formulating will have a lion's share in the profitability of around 60-65%, which is less than 40% as of now. And O2C will continue to perform where it is. So a very good value buy out there. If you are again holding it for 3 to 5 years kind of a thing, it's again a doubler from current levels. So that's the overall take on Reliance Industries.
Okay, Reliance, ladies and gentlemen, if you see the 1 year performance has appreciated 38% over the past 12 months, and the counter stands at about sub 3,000 rupees. Just a ballpark number, Dharmeshji, what would be your estimate of a 1 year price target on Reliance Industries? We've had a plethora of foreign brokerages coming in with fairly decent upticks. What is your own sense? Where is Reliance headed?
See, if we, I mean, considering the environment in which we are and how the markets are placed, I don't think we are out of the woods. So that overall overhang of uncertain geopolitical issues and commodity prices flaring up further, adding to inflation and interest rate, I mean, all these macro factors will definitely play out. Thankfully, Reliance is insulated for most of them when these businesses are concerned, and any uptick in the energy price is going to help them only in their refining margins and the gas production output. So keeping that in mind, if you, after this great run-up which we have already seen, and it's a very big company and the largest market cap company. So considering that, in fact, I think around 37 to 3,800 should be a fair estimation going by 1 year kind of a price target.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was a very strong, how should I say, uptick on Reliance that Dharmeshji expects. Let's also discuss some other news points that are coming in, and in chief, the kind of move that Vodafone Idea and Indus Tower may see, given the background of the hugely successful FPO that recently was floated by Vodafone Idea. Dharmeshji, what would you think in terms of Vodafone Idea and Indus Towers? The 18,000 crore rupee FPO which shut shop yesterday was oversubscribed by about 5 times, and there's been a very decent set of names that have put in their confirmation as far as Vodafone Idea's anchor book is concerned. Your views, sir, on Vodafone Idea at about 12 rupees 35, and of course Indus Star 345.
Shail, on a lighter note, had they had this green shoe option for this oversubscription in the entirety, most of the rules have been gone away with debt getting off the balance sheet in a much bigger way. So this is a very sound show of confidence by the investors in the Vodafone Idea, and this basically came because the ministry came out with a clear statement that they want more players into the market, and they will do the necessary steps to keep Vodafone Idea in place. So even if it comes to converting their equity, I mean debt to equity further, so that's the likely scenario. I mean, the government stake is likely to go up again to 32% in next 1 year time frame, because that is how the maths work as of now for Vodafone Idea. But this is a very strong commitment. Even we were not expecting such kind of endorsement to this rights issue which they have come through. So on that count, I think a way to go for Vodafone Idea. Let's give it a benefit of doubt. Current valuations, though not justifiable given the cash flow and the profit trajectory, but if you are just taking a call on the business for next 3 to 4 years and assuming that over 4 years the debt will be set aside and then operating cash flow and everything will come into play, then I believe that around with the kind of equity addition which will go into the play, 25 to 26 rupees should be a fair value of for idea 4 years down the line, and expectation of it getting into the regular kind of a profitability trajectory and margins which its peers like Bharti or Reliance Jio enjoys. So having those two parameters in place, 25, 26 rupees is our sense that it should settle at for next 3 to 4 years. So again, if you look at the current price, it's a doubler for me.
Okay. Dharmesh, let's look at the, how should I say, the impact of very strong rise in temperatures on northern India, and two stocks, Voltas and Blue Star, are making the most as far as the surging demand of air conditioning is concerned. Anything that catches your fancy in this summer theme that's running across the Lal Street? You know, cooler makers like Symphony, air conditioner makers like Blue Star, even Voltas. Another theme that is running across the Lal Street is the rise in sugar prices, because demand is coming in from ice cream makers and cold drink makers. How do you see this entire universe, which is, how should I say, bubbling over with gains?
Yeah, this is a trade which has been playing out, and I think still there's some juice left out there for this to play out. Uh, I mean, the rise in the stock prices has been far higher than the rise in the temperature or the heat wave which is playing out through the country. And this has coincided with the cyclicality of the business. After 2 years was a very lull period for most of these companies. I mean, look at Volta's last 2 years, the sales number and figures were not up to the mark. At the same time, they were hit by the higher input prices because of the Russia-Ukraine war and earlier COVID-led disruption. So that commodity flare up, they were inventory losses on the account of higher prices was there. Now this all played into their profitability because commodity prices are very low. The inventories are low cost inventory holding. At the same time, 2 years of down cycle was to get into up cycle, and it coincided with the heat wave playing out in the country. So the sales numbers have been very terrific. I personally did most of the showroom checks in Mumbai, in and around our area, Andheri, Juhu, Bandra. So there the sales were quite robust and they were very busy with the businesses going on. And online sales are happening more than on-store sales. So that is what we got to know. Valuation wise, I think everything is being priced into it. From here, if you, it's very difficult to justify on the valuation metrics, be it Blue Star, be it Voltas, be it Symphony. And so a trade, I mean, this, as long as momentum continues, 10-15% more can be there. So play with technicals into play. As far as sugar is concerned, it's a very small trade. So this heat and the life monsoons, as of now, the prediction is it will be normal. And this year was a bit slight deficient sugar production in the country, but it's highly controlled commodity. So I don't think government will let any supernormal profit to be made by the sugar companies. Some amount of leeway can be given out there, so that the trade is being there. So sugar as a theme, we always play from the technical perspective. We never go on a fundamental buy because it has never been a wealth creator over a long-term period. Just to give a small view on this, the consumption and worldwide is rises by only 1%, 1.5%. So that's how the thing is. So such a slow consumption increase, you cannot expect a 40-50% kind of a or a wealth creator kind of a story in sugar play. Ethanol, much was said about, but with EVs coming into play and hybrid model of vehicles coming into play, even this story is going to take a backseat. So last 3-4 years, if you see, it was more of ethanol play. which sugar companies were enjoying. I think even that story is over, and ethanol is now a backstory. It's no longer a forward-looking story going forward. So it's more of a hybrid kind of vehicles or electric vehicles which are going to take center stage. And hydrogen is also there in the offering. So plenty of mixes out there. So if you're trading consumer durable goods on the AC or Symphony side, play with your stop losses in place. Most of the trade is done.
Right, sir. Right. I'd just like to point out two points of note as far as the sugar space is concerned. Over the last fortnight, 15 days, sugar prices have increased by about 4.5% locally because of the strong demand that is coming in from chiefly ice cream makers as also cola makers. But what is of note is that we are in this election phase, and there is very little chance that the government will not be looking this at a hawk's eye, because sugar is a commodity that is found in all households, and the government at this stage does not want any problems related to as far as price rises are concerned. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have the pre-open rates. Another day of gains. It's a very strong opening. 22,520 for you as far as initial trades are concerned. This is likely to settle down sensibly. The first stock in my mind when it comes to this kind of a day is of course Reliance Industries. Remember, it was the earnings boy. It's trying to open a percent higher, 29 rupees up, 29.90. This is a very positive reaction to its earnings. Okay, let's just look at the broad picture first. All 9 out of 10 index heavyweights are in the green. That's a very positive development. Let's look at ICICI Bank, 23 rupees higher, 1110. Let's look at what HDFC Bank is trying to do, flat, 1512. How about Axis Bank, flat, 1053. How about Infosys, 16 rupees higher, 1449. So amongst the three index heavyweights, Reliance, which is the earnings boy, is in the green, 12 rupees higher. Infosys, the third highest weighted counter, is up 16 rupees, and the highest weighted counter, HDFC Bank, is flat. Okay, what else is buzzing? I wanted to see what L&T is doing. 27 rupees higher, 36.39. What else is in pain? Kotak Bank, 0.5% lower, 0.2. We'll shift focus to what's happening in the F&O space, and then move on to the stocks in NSE 500. Okay, Indus Stars, ladies and gentlemen, 365 rupees, 4% higher. This is the top performing stock in terms of gains as far as F&O is concerned. CLSA has come out with a report raising its price expectations to 435 from 345 now. Persistent Systems was beaten black and blue yesterday. The earnings weren't taken very kindly. There's a bit of a reversal, 3% higher, 36.20. SRF 3.5% higher, 26.50. Let's look at the most active space and one stock, yes, I would like to mark out because of relatively low corporate governance standards, is M&M Financial Services, opening 10% lower, 251. The board and the company have informed the exchanges and shareholders that there has been a scam of up to 150 crore rupees in financing of vehicles in Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Services Northeast operations. So that is reflecting very badly on the stock. BHEL 1.6% lower, 255. The Nifty is assuming sensible trends, now up just 98 at 22,434. Most likely it's going to be a flat opening today. Let's see how prices settle. A quick look at NSE 500. I want to see how prices are moving up in terms of how the positioning is. There is a 20% uptick on Tejas Networks, ladies and gentlemen. It was a very strong earnings that had come in late evening. The stock, of course, had moved 16% higher during trade yesterday, and now up 20% at 1088. Inox Wind 10% higher, 651. Sterling Wilson 8% higher, 670. We should also be joined by Mr. Ruchit Jain shortly. He's the technical play for today, lead research analyst at 5paisa.com. Dharmesh ji, fairly decent opening, 99 on the Nifty in terms of gains. Would you want to comment on Tejas Networks? The company moved to a profit from a loss.
Yeah, after a long time, a good set of numbers from Tejas Networks, and much talked about company. But let it give 1, 2 more quarters of consistency as far as earnings is concerned. Then a long-term valuation call can be taken, because such kind of a companies you want to take a long-term call for 3 to 5 years at least. So for that, I would like to see more earnings coming to play. Having said that, the numbers are really good, and I do think that if the continuity is there, then this is a very good play in the making from investment perspective.
Okay, so a 20% uptick on Tejas Networks is as far as initial prices are concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, Nifty is now gaining strength, actually 146 points higher. Let's look at what is contributing to this enthusiastic fervor as far as prices are concerned. Let's look at the top gainers. Bharti Airtel 2% higher, 1323. ICICI Bank 2.5% higher, 1114. Wipro 1.7% higher, 147. 470. Let's look at the top losers. Okay, so there are 3 plus 3 6 plus 4 10. So out of 50 stocks, ladies and gentlemen, 40 are in the green as far as the Nifty is concerned. This is turning out to be a good day. Remember, this is going to be the third day of gains as far as the index is concerned, and it's the earnings boys this week. ICICI and Axis that are to report as far as markets are concerned during this week. They are showing strength. Today's earnings boy from the Nifty pack is Tata Consumer. Let's see how that has opened. Let me see if I can mark the price. Tata Consumer is 1174, flat 0.2% higher. Wipro is the man in action, 1.2% higher, now almost 468. A view coming in on Wipro, Dharmesh ji?
Yeah, I mean, earnings were disappointing, but so has been the price action for the last several months. If you look at the Wipro price action, I think a trade paid out in the last session yesterday, where buying was seen in the Wipro stock. But if you look at the overall basket, at the result of TCS, Infosys, and Wipro all put together, I think TCS still stands the best chance of overcoming this entire lull period. So whenever traction spends on the discretionary spending and the BFS segment picks up in North America, so TCS would be the first and the front runner out there. So, and the deal wins were very strong as compared to Infosys as well. And Wipro has to do all these things. I mean, Wipro is way behind in the business module as far as TCS or Infosys is concerned. So I would be rather looking into TCS from a long-term perspective if I have to take a bet on the IT landscape space. As of now, my own sense is, I mean, as a house also, we are avoiding IT space at least for 1 more quarter before taking a long-term call on that. Even from trading perspective, I think mid-cap and small-cap ITs are also heated up in a very heated up zone. We saw what happened with persistent system. Results were okay. The only thing the management said that this year onwards, I mean for FY25, they're expecting a consistent or the stable margins, no improvement out there. And the stock price corrected sharply. So that is how these stocks are placed in a middle cap, small cap space. And the large cap space, the best bet to my mind still is TCS. If you are willing to take a chance for next 2 quarters and wait for next 3 years to get a decent price appreciation.
Okay. Mr. Ruchit Jain would be joining us shortly. Let's look at the composition of the Nifty today. Now trying to open 110 points higher. The pre-open rates have settled. There is a possibility of 350 point uptick on the Bank Nifty at about 48,300. So a fairly strong move coming in on the third successive session. Pent-up demand. Stocks available relatively cheaper than what they were a week ago, or 15 days ago, is probably prompting to this green uptick that we are seeing. And remember, at about 22,000 crore rupees. The monthly SIP number, a very strong participation from ultra HNIs, is the reason why all major dips on Indian markets have been bought into, as also the enthusiastic expectations of the current ruling dispensation coming back into power after national elections is one of the main reasons why we see such strong moves coming in. 909, ladies and gentlemen. A very quick look at how other prices are behaving. Remember, yesterday there was a PSU theme running across the board on the Lal Street. Even today, there is thick action. IOC is trying to open 1.6% higher, 173. 70. PNB 1.4% higher, 135. IFCI 1.3% higher, 42.50. I think Ruchit Jain should be with us shortly, and we'll take his view on the Nifty. But a warm welcome to you, Ruchit. Good morning. Third successive day of gains on the Nifty. Your view on the index and your top two calls.
Thank you and very good morning, Shail. Well, markets, short-term bounce is there. We have seen that last from Friday when we witnessed that gap down opening, markets have shown a pullback move. But the only thing to worry is that the data is not turning positive from the FIS front. If you look at the data, just a week and a half ago, their long-short ratio was around 57%, from where it has declined to about 35-36%. So around 65% positions of FIS are still on the short side, and there are no more to cover the short positions, it seems. And once we see a retracement of around 61.8% of this recent correction that we saw, I think markets would face some resistance around that 22,450 to 22,500. Right now, we are looking at opening around those levels itself. So I think we would see a positive opening, although based on global cues, but the follow-up move would be more important. I would advise to take more of a stock-specific approach rather than chasing the markets after this up move of last two trading sessions. Around 22,454 or 500 range, we might see some sort of consolidation or some profit booking at higher levels. Now, as far as stock calls are there, I have a couple of recommendations. First is from the PSU banking space, where SBI is looking positive. We have seen a good amount of up move supported by good volumes in yesterday's trading session. We could see this momentum extending towards 780, 785 in next one or two trading sessions. So SBI can be bought with stop loss below 754, expecting targets around 780 to 785. And Raymond is another pick where positional charts are looking quite positive. Breakout has been seen in last two trading sessions. The up move has been supported by very good volumes. So here one can look for positional trade where one can initiate fresh buying over here and keep some room to average in case if we get any dip around the 2000 mark. So 1950 should be the stop loss on any kind of long positions, and 2150, 2200 should be the target range.
Okay, so these are the two stocks that Ruchit has in mind. Your view, Ruchit, on Indigo. The reason why I asked this is that on April 21st, we had a salutary impact on civil aviation numbers, recorded the highest ever air traffic of about 4,71,000 passengers. Your view on Indigo?
So the stock has been forming this high top, high bottom structure since some time. So and as of now, there is no change in that structure. We witnessed some correction along with the broader markets during last week, but again at lower levels, the stock has witnessed good buying interest, and the 40 days exponential moving average has been acting as a good support for the stock. So till this is intact, which is around 3,450, the broader trend remains positive, and we could see another high in the stock around 3,900.
Okay, so that's the view that is coming in as far as Indigo is concerned. We are about 2 minutes away. One very, very quick view, Dharmesh ji, on Indigo.
The company is in a very sweet spot considering the again narrowing of the competition space, and it's taken advantage of that. It has gained market share as well, and that's a big positive. The only worry was the crude factor. If it scales up, then their profitability will come into question mark once again. But having said that, it's one of the best plays as far as operating cash flows are concerned because of very light debt on the balance sheet. So that benefit they are enjoying. From a trading perspective, one can dabble into it, but as far as long-term fundamental buy is concerned, so we have never had a buy recommendation on it from an investment perspective. Trading off and on, we do play the cyclicals.
Okay, we are just minutes away, ladies and gentlemen, as far as the pre-open trades morphing into opening quotes is concerned. Remember, this is the third successive day of gains. There is a very strong global tailwind coming in from Wall Street. Across Asia, there is buoyancy in prices, and of course, crude oil prices, gold are down. That is positive for equities, and let's hope we have a cracker of a day as far as prices are concerned. The 2 or 3 themes that are running across the market will be Reliance Industries. It was the earnings boy yesterday. It's opening 9 rupees higher, 29.68. Now 10 rupees higher, 29.69. The Reliance move has sort of made a flat opening for the Nifty, as I was telling you, just about 70 points higher, 22,415. A 150 point uptick on the Nifty Bank Index, 48,077. Today is the day for the IT index because a very sharp move came in from Nasdaq overseas, 220 points higher, 33,750 for you, and the Nifty 500 about 0.5% higher, 20,665. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the action. First and foremost, all 10 index heavyweights are in the green. That's a very big positive, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, which is the top gainer? Infosys 0.6% higher, 8.7, 1440. How about HDFC Bank? Bank is 5 rupees higher, 1517. How about TCS? What is TCS doing? TCS is 14 rupees higher, 3878. Hindustan Lever is taking 14 rupees higher, 2256. We'll take a quick detour on what is happening in the NSE 500 space. Post earnings, Tejas Networks, it's a blowout, ladies and gentlemen. 12.5% higher, 1022. SW Solar, again earnings play, 8% higher, 667. Inox Wind, 4% higher, 617. Indus Star, 3.5% higher, 362. Within the most active counters, ladies and gentlemen, we have in terms of volume, let's look at Geofin, 1% higher, 386. Let's get Ruchit into this conversation, and M&M Financial Service, I want to mark this one, 6% lower, 261. Ruchit, how do you see the opening? Your first move, if any?
So the opening seems to be positive. It was much expected. Looking at the global markets. But I think that it would be more of a stock-specific approach again today. Yesterday, even we witnessed a similar kind of thing where the positive opening was seen. But throughout the day, then index traded within a range with a positive bias, and stock-specific opportunities were much better. So I think it would be a day for more stock-specific approach. I think a good amount of short covering move could be seen in some of the IT names, but very selective, because ahead of the TCS and Infosys results, we have already seen a decent short formations were there in many of the IT counters. So I think if we see any kind of unwinding over there, then IT counters could see some positive momentum in today's session.
Okay, I'd like to point out M&M Financial Services. Would you do something here, Ruchit? Want to sell it at 6% lower, 262, or the pain is out?
No, frankly, I would just wait and watch this counter, because already 6% lower. If we go short, even at current levels, the risk reward ratio is not favorable, and major support is around 255, 254 kind of range. So there is no trade setup over here, but yes, the stock could see some support coming in case if we see further correction towards 255.
Okay, I'll just mark the price of Tejas Networks, 15% higher, 1040. This is a fresh record high because the stock moved 16% higher yesterday and 14% now. There's no point taking a technical view because it's overstretched. Record highs, Tejas, Bharti Airtel, 1.5% higher, 1317. You have Voltas, 0.5% higher, 1391. Geo Finance 1% higher, 386.95. Nam India and Blue Star, both of them at record highs. Let's pay attention to what the broader markets are telling us. It's a fairly strong move now coming in. The Nifty appreciating 75 points at 22,410. Ladies and gentlemen, we tracked 19 indices for you. All 19 of them are in the green. The top performing index is the Realty Index, 2% higher, 952. The Alpha 50 on the Nifty is almost 0.75% higher, 48,913. What's the NSE 500 doing? A fourth of a percent, 0.4% higher. Nifty 200, 0.4% higher. The mid cap index, okay, Nifty mid cap index 0.5% higher, 49,336, and the small cap index is 0.7% higher, 16,607. So ladies and gentlemen, it's a very strong opening, and a sharp move coming into the FNO space as well. Advanced decline in the favor of bulls, 1500 shares in the green on Dalal Street compared with 360 that are in the red. Dharmesh ji, anything that catches your fancy in these opening quotes?
I mean, Shailji, just look at the kind of appetite which investors are sitting on. Any good news or slight good news leads the stock into 10-15% kind of an upside. So that is the frenzy which is there. And I mean, one has to stick to the fundamentals if you want to be safe for a long-term perspective. And there, I think the sectors remains the same. I won't be deviating just based on the small price actions here and there. And the sectors, as we spoke at the start of the show, it remains to be defense, power, railway infra, and metal basket. So one can look at Hindalco or JSW Steel in the current market scenario for a trading perspective.
Okay. To you, Ruchit, anything that catches your fancy? How about Geo Finance? Would you like to stick your neck out? 391.25. Strong moves.
The stock already is in an uptrend. Even we saw that in the recent corrective phase where the markets or the broader markets were corrected, there was no negative impact on Geo Finance. So difficult to give any targets technically because it's its all-time high and we have a limited historical data. But yes, the only thing one can do is to continue to ride this trend with the trailing stop loss method and keep a buy on dip approach. That in case if we get any kind of minor dips in the near future, use those declines as a buying opportunity.
Okay, let's look at the Nifty. The day's low, ladies and gentlemen, was a shade below 22,400. Let me just point that out to you. The low was 22,391. The index is now at 22,422. We'll wait for the first 15 minutes of the candle to form and then probably take a view on the index, but fairly strong moves coming in. Geo Finance, ladies and gentlemen, now at 394. The reason why I point this out to you is because very strong moves are coming in as far as volumes are concerned. 5 block deals, 2.11 crore, 2.06 crore, 4.65 crore and 185 crores, and it's just continuing. Let me just see the overall turnover for Geo Finance. So far 300 crores, 5-day average is 1650 crores. We'll see what's happening as far as Geo Finance is concerned. A strong move coming in. What else is rolling in greens? I would like to point out, okay, let's look at the contributors to the Nifty's gain at the moment. Without a doubt, it's Bharti Airtel contributing 14 points, HDFC Bank contributing 10 points, Reliance contributing 8 points, Infosys contributing 6 and Titan contributing 3. Stocks that are pulling the index low are barely any. So it's a very strong opening that's coming in. Volume buzzers within the Nifty 50 are nothing to be worth talking about. Okay, still time. How about NSE 500 volume buzzers? M&M Financial Services. Okay, the market extremely disappointed with low governance standards within the company. 4% lower, 266. About 74 lakh shares have been traded, 2.75 times the 5-day average, and we haven't even moved wink as far as time is concerned. Inox Wind 8% higher, 641. That's a good move coming in. Honasa, this is the company that's into online cosmetics, 4.5% higher, 421. Let's look at the defense space. What's happening here? Okay, nothing much to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Pondy Oxides 2.5% higher, 737. Garden Reach 1.5% higher as far as prices are concerned, 882. Ruchit, anything that catches your fancy?
Some of the defense names could be in focus. Cochin Shipyard, I think here looks good because we have recently seen a good consolidation, followed by high top, high bottom, which indicates a resumption of uptrend. So I think Cochin Shipyard is there, Mazgaon Dock is there. These names could again see some good momentum. Technically, Cochin Shipyard, from a short-term trading perspective, can be bought over here, keeping stop loss below 1060 and expect targets of 1200 and beyond.
Okay, Cochin Shipyard and Mazgaon. 1134 on Cochin. Idea Cellular 1325 as far as prices are concerned. That's a good move coming in. The very decent, how should I say, receiving of the largest ever FPO in India of about 18,000 crore rupees has enthused investors, and they are looking at it with fairly decent price upticks. What else is buzzing which we can point out to our viewers? Okay, we've discussed Geo Financials. We can look at LIC Housing Finance, now up 4.5% higher. Ruchit, your view on this one? LIC at about 1004, again reclaiming the 4-digit space.
So LIC overall, it's look positive, but I think this should be seen more from a positional perspective. The stock has recently corrected and formed a good support base around its 100-day exponential moving average. The price volume action, if we see, then the kind of volumes that we had seen before the month of February, when the prices had rallied, we had not seen any kind of high volumes when the prices were correcting. So positionally, this becomes a very good support. So I think LIC can be bought from a positional perspective. One can expect levels of around 1100, 1080 on this stock, and stop loss on the long position should be placed below 940.
Okay, I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have as a stock to discuss, 13.3. It's a very, very, how should I say, liquid counter, and even at a 5 paisa move, there are crores and crores of shares that are lined up for buying or selling. But for the moment, it's at 1330, 13.35. And this is a very strong move coming in. Your view, Ruchit, on Hindustan Aeronautics, the counter now at a fresh high, 3811 is what is there on the price, and majorly up as far as the weekly performance is concerned. How do you see this counter?
Certainly, I think this entire theme of defense has been doing quite well even during corrective times, and this clearly indicates a good buying interest in the stocks, whether you see HAL, BEL, we just named some other names as well. So I think here the trend still remains positive, but the momentum reading is now a bit overbought on the lower time frame chart. So if any existing long positions are there, then better to ride the trend. But for fresh buying, I think if we get any kind of either time-wise correction, if not a price-wise correction, then use such small corrections as a buying opportunity. So buy and dip strategy should be kept for both these names, HAL as well as BEL, where the broader trend remains quite strong. But the momentum definitely looks good. So the stock can continue to outperform in case the market goes through some consolidation phase also.
Okay, real estate is going through a fairly decent uptick. Oberoi Realty 1459, 2.6% higher. This is the best performing FNO stock. DLF is 2.8% higher, 890. As I had mentioned earlier, it was the best performing index as far as the indices space is concerned. Dharmeshji, what would your top pick be in the real estate space? Okay, Ruchitji, your view on the real estate pack and what would be your top pick?
Sector looks quite positive even from a trading perspective. No recent small correction was there, but again we have not seen any kind of volume-based sell-off in these stocks. So I think the momentum could pick up again. Loda is one of the stock where chart structure is quite positive. If we get a breakout above the recent swing high of 1250, 1260, then I think the stock has potential to show a good outperformance within the sector. Even Shobha, if you see, the stock is on the verge of a breakout of recent swing highs. So I think these are the two names which if one is looking from a very short-term trading perspective, then one can initiate fresh longs over here with stop loss. In Shobha, one can keep a stop loss below 1600 and expect target somewhere around 750, 1750 to 1800.
Okay, fair point. Let's look at the Nifty Realty space. Why I wish to point out is that apart from the index, this is 4. Let's look at it this way. Okay, we have 4 plus 4, 8 plus 2, 10. 10 stocks comprising the Nifty Realty Index. 9 of them are in the green, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a very, very strong sectoral move. Let's look at volume buzzers. DLF 3% higher, 892. About 27% of 5-day average has already been traded. 9.2 lakh shares are already in the market, have changed hands. What else is moving fairly sharply? I think it's Shobha Developers. Lodha I remember marking yesterday 3% higher, but Shobha is 6% higher, 1716. Ruchit, your view on Shobha, record high again.
Yeah, so Shobha is looking positive. So I think here the previous swing highs has been crossed. So the trend could continue. High top, high bottom structure is there. So just now, the two stocks that we talked about, one was Loda and other was Shobha. So I think here trend remains positive. One can even initiate fresh longs over here.
Okay, a fairly strong move on Shobha, and needless to say, this is a record high. What else is on the move? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's Bharti Airtel, block deal of 50 lakh rupees, just there, 1322. Needless to say, this is again a record high. GeoFin, now the traded volume is somewhere like 497 crore rupees and only accelerating. And the index, the Nifty is 59 points higher, 22,395. Anything that catches your interest here, Ruchit?
EDSL is one stock which is on the verge of a breakout. So I think here, even yesterday, we witnessed a good momentum. Today, a good follow-up move has been seen. The stock is up by 3%, and is breaking its previous swing high. So I think this is one stock which intraday traders can keep on radar, and one can expect a good momentum over here.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind as far as prices are concerned. What else is moving at the moment, ladies and gentlemen? It's a crisis of plenty that is coming in. Let's just look at the outperformers in the mid-cap index, and I'm going to point out something unusual to you because of the kind of data that we have our end. Okay, so the advanced decline as far as the NSE mid-cap index is concerned is 79:27. Fairly strong moves coming in. My apologies, 73:27. Let's look at stocks that are up between 3 and 5%. We've discussed both of them, Oberoi Realty and Lodha Developers. Very strong move coming in Yes Bank, 25.85. Remember, there are market reports and media reports that Yes Bank is in conversation with a series of potential stake buyers into the company. The counter is now at days high. Idea Cellular we have discussed. Bombay Stock Exchange, 29.29. This is 2.5% higher. It's the entire wealth management space that is doing excellently well, and that's the reason why we see this near record high on BSE. Torrent Power, Godrej Properties, Prestige Real Estate. I think it's a no-brainer as far as real estate is concerned. So therefore, a strong move coming in. Let's do a similar exercise on the Nifty Small Cap Index, ladies and gentlemen. Again, 100 shares, and 53 plus 5 plus 2, that is 60 to 40 is the advance decline ratio. Stocks that are up between 3 and 5%. Okay, Gujarat State Petronet. Remember, yesterday was a terrible day. The counter was down 19% because of the regulatory stance on its pricing. Apar Industries is 3% higher. NCC and CDSL are 3% higher each. And another strong move that is coming in is on Honasa, 5.5% higher. Tejas Networks, purposely I will not take a view because it's up 15% and a very, very strong move coming in there as well. Anything that catches your fancy in the price moves, Ruchit?
So I think we have already spoken many of the names, but one of the large cap stocks, I think here where if one is looking for any kind of bottom fishing, then HUL is looking a bit positive over here. So we have seen a good underperformance in these as some of the FMCG names, and especially HUL, which has seen a sharp correction in last few months post a high of around 2600. The stock has already corrected to about 2200 levels now. So here there is a positive divergence which is getting formed where the new low in the price which was recently formed was not confirmed with a new low in RSI. So higher bottom in the RSI, a new low in the price is a positive divergence. Generally, such divergences leads to a good decent pullback move. So I think one is looking from a bit short-term perspective and looking for bottom fishing on since any of the names which have underperformed so far, then HUL could be bought at current levels. With a stop loss below 22 or 2200, one can expect a pullback move towards 2350 in HUL.
Okay, that's the move that is coming in as far as prices are concerned. Again, I'll point out Geo. Now the volume is 530 and the price, of course, moving fairly stronger. I think we need to mark Tejas Networks for two reasons. Maybe we'll see a 20% circuit here. It's already 19% higher. Let me just check what the circuit is. Okay, upper circuit is 1088. We are already at 1081. It's a no-brainer. Again, on purpose, we will not be taking in technical chart check. Ruchit, would you want to stick your net out on Gujarat State Petronet? Strong up move coming in.
But too volatile, frankly, if you look at yesterday's gap down opening, the stock has breached an important support. Today, again, from lower levels, we have witnessed a good recovery. But I think it's a high risk trade. So if any trader wants to look for some high risk trade and look for bottom fishing over here, then in the range of 310 to 300, one can look for some buying over there. But with a strict stop loss below 290 and expect a pullback move towards the average support which was broken. Now it's around 340. So pullback move towards 340 could be there. But as I said, a bit of a high risk trade because of the volatility that we have seen since yesterday.
Fair point, and it's a very well appreciated thought. Let's leave it to professional and institutional traders to dabble with this very, very sharp volatility that is coming in. Okay, Polycab is at a 1 week high, 54.77, about 0.8% higher. What else is moving smartly? I think ITC is something that needs to be checked. The first resistance has been broken, 0.5% higher, 427.55. Your view, Ruchit, on ITC?
I think somewhere the price-wise corrective phase is over for ITC. We had seen a good correction since the month of Jan from about 480 to the 400 kind of levels. But you can see now that the price-wise correction is not happening and the stock is going through some consolidation phase, which more seems to be a time-wise corrective phase. So I think if one is looking for a bit mid to long-term investments, then one can look for buying opportunities over here. From a short-term perspective, 435, 440 is a major resistance for the stock, which needs to be broken. If we get a breakout above this 440 kind of levels, then the one can expect a good momentum in the stock. So, but as I said, it doesn't seem that we would see any sharp correction from here on in the stock, but some consolidation or a time-wise correction should be expected in the near term.
Okay, Fair point, and this is a view that is coming in on ITC. Polycab, I think, should be checked. This is a strong move. Till about 2-3 days ago, there was a very well-known large institutional broker that had come out with a report on the entire cable and wireless, cable and wire sector, and at 54.94, the counter is at its highest level since almost middle of December. So we are actually staring at a 4-month high. Ruchit, would you want to stick your neck out?
Yes, I think here, no, this stock certainly looks interesting. No, we have seen a high top, high bottom. So it's a bit of slow of gradual up move, but the trend is quite clear. No, the short term it could head towards 5,700. The December highs were around 5,700. So I think the stock should approach that 5,700 levels again.
Okay, that's a view coming in. Anything that catches your fancy? Maybe Kotak Bank.
Yes, a short-term up move could be expected in the Kotak Bank. No, we have seen that 1840, 1850 would be the major hurdle or resistance for the stock, which needs to be cleared. For any kind of midterm trend changes. So if one is looking from a very short-term trading perspective, then 1440, 1450, maybe that could be the level which could be seen in the stock. But need to see whether it again gives a breakout above that or not.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just mark the telecom pack. Now, Tata Tele Maharashtra is gaining ground on the back of, the kind of moves that we've seen in Idea Cellular. I normally don't mark this one, but let me just see what the positioning is. Yes, Tata Tele Maharashtra 8130. Again, this is the third day of gains. The counter is 5% higher. And why I point this out to you is because there has been a rally across the board. ITI, which is the telecom equipment maker, is up at 288.85, 290 now, 290.7. Fairly strong moves coming in. This is a counter that's up 4.5%. All of them enthused about the earnings that have come from Tejas Networks. It swam to a profit from a loss, and Tejas Networks is of course 20% higher at 1088. This is the top performing stock in the NSE 500 as far as prices are concerned. 941, ladies and gentlemen, we've done 20-25 minutes of trade, and it's the defense space that is moving strongly. 1136 on Cochin Shipyard. Garden Reach is 2.5% higher. Metals is represented by a whole host of counters. Let's see what metals is doing. Okay, in terms of gainers, it's Jindal Stainless 719.85. The counters up about 1%. Steel Authority 0.5% higher, 149. Tata Steel 162, marginally higher, and National Aluminium sort of moving in fairly strongly. I think it's going to be a day belonging to the shipbuilders. Garden Reach 889, Cochin Shipyard 1140, and of course Mazgaon Dock is also in the green. Let me just see my defense lineup, what's clicking here. Okay, Cochin is up 3.7%, Garden Reach 2.5%, Mazgaon 1.4%, and of course a record high that's coming in as far as Hindustan Aeronautics is concerned. Idea Cellular, it was at 13 rupees 35 paisa just a couple of minutes ago, now at 13.50. I hesitate to take a technical view on it given the very high volatile nature, but the fact is that its FPO has received great enthusiastic response. Cochin Shipyard taking it away. Your view on this one, Ruchit?
Yeah, so I think it's looking quite interesting. Shail, just a few moments ago, we spoke about this two picks of Cochin Shipyard and Mazgaon Dock, and they're doing fairly well with good volumes as well. Just markets have opened about half an hour ago, and within half an hour, we can see good volumes in Cochin Shipyard. Almost yesterday's volume has been crossed in this stock. So looking quite attractive. Cochin Shipyard, GRSE, Mazgaon Dock. I think this could be one of the theme where intraday one can expect good momentum.
Okay, fair point, and that is how it is coming in. ITC and Tata Motors, these are the two counters within the F&O space that are doing pretty well. Tata Motors now 1.3% higher in terms of F&O prices, 984.20. Would you stick your neck out, Ruchit, on Tata Motors? A bit of a relief rally coming in now that Mr. Elon Musk is no longer driving in India, at least for the short term.
So I think irrespective of Mr. Elon Musk visiting over here, whether now or later, Tata Motors, over a longer term, could continue to do quite well. I think these are just short-term corrective phases which we have recently seen, but we have not seen any kind of high volume-based sell-off where one can expect any kind of significant decline. In fact, such dips, I believe, are good opportunities to create fresh longs from a mid-term perspective in stocks such as Tata Motors. So downside seems to be limited from a trading perspective. If we manage to the stock managed to surpass the 1,000 level, then we could see some good momentum towards 1,030, 1,040 immediately. But the mid to long term structures has not deteriorated in the recent correction. This just seems to be a corrective phase within an uptrend where one investors should use this decline as a good buying opportunity.
And let's take a detour into the F&O space, ladies and gentlemen. Idea Cellular is 4% higher. It's the top performing stock in terms of stock future in terms of gains. I will still not take a technical view on it. It's sensible to just sort of stay away from all the enthusiastic moves that are coming in. Okay, what else is moving which I can point out to you in terms of trades? Okay, Bandhan Bank. Now that's surprising. The volume is fairly strong and open interest is also higher. Let's look at the Bandhan Bank chart. This is not a stock that we discuss often, and there was a management change coming in also. Okay, let me just first point out that it's a multi-month low. Okay, in fact it's near its all-time low of 160, 180 that we had seen in COVID time. So you can well imagine the pain, but the volume is very high. Ruchit, any view that you would have on Bandhan?
Broader trend is still negative. We've seen a huge underperformance compared to other private sector banks if we look at the recent rally. But I think short-term readings are a bit oversold and some divergences are being formed where the price has formed a new low, but RSI has formed a higher low. So one can expect some pullback moves in the near term towards 190 followed by 200. But that not would be a change in trend. One should take this just as a pullback move within a downtrend. So one can expect some relief rally over here towards 190, and if crosses, then 200 could be expected. But as the stock has been a huge underperformer compared to other sectoral banks, I think if one is looking from a bit mid to long term perspective, I think there are much better opportunities placed within the private sector banks compared to Bandhan Bank.
Okay, fair point. We are now at 9:48, ladies and gentlemen. We'll just take a detour into the broader markets. Let's see how the Nifty is doing. It's consolidating. Remember, this is the third day of gains, and we have 22,377 on the board, 40 points higher. The day's high was 22,450. So it was the resistance at that level that's come in, and the market now consolidating after a very decent 500-point rally on the Nifty over the last two trading sessions. What are the gainers as far as the Nifty is concerned? There is a strong move within the banking space, but looking at the top performing stocks within the Nifty, they are Bharti Airtel, record high, 1.7% higher, 1320. Strong moves coming in to the entire IT pack led by HCL Tech. Fairly strong move coming in here on 4,37,000 shares. The counter is up 1.5% at 1482. ITC we've just discussed, 22.9 lakh shares have been traded, counter 1% higher, 429.50. NTPC Tata Motors, again a percentage point higher, both of them, and it's an okay kind of a volume, 15%, 16% happening in the first 50 minutes of trade. Top losers, metals profit booking, therefore Hindalco 612.3, a percent lower. Power Grid 1% lower, 281.15. Tata Consumer ahead of its numbers, 1162, 0.7% lower. Nothing much to be worried about as far as prices are concerned. NSE 500, I want to point out moves that are coming in terms of volume led. Okay, I think I will have to take a view on telecom, ladies and gentlemen. Ruchit, Idea Cellular 3.5. Why I ask this is that now 677 crores worth of transactions have happened, and this is the second most active counter. Your view on Idea Cellular?
So till now, I think the stock has seen a decent correction since the second half of February. But since yesterday, one can clearly see some buying interest post that FPO which is closed yesterday. So I think good volumes, as you pointed out. The RSI has shown a positive crossover, so which indicates a good momentum. So the stock could continue its up move. The resistance for the stock would come around 14.25 to 14.50, where the swing highs of recent consolidation was there. And once if the stock manages to surpass that 14.5 mark, then I think the stock could be headed for a significant uptrend in the near future. But for now, the momentum looks on the positive side. 14.25, 14.50 should be the level that one should watch out for. And good support base seems to be formed around the yesterday's low of 12 rupees.
Okay, so that's the move that is coming into this one. Let's again shift focus to what's happening as far as prices are concerned within the banking space. I want to watch the Nifty PSU banking index. This one was the top performer yesterday. A bit of a profit booking coming in. Nothing to be worried about. PNB 0.5% higher, 133.65. Canara Bank 602.10, 0.3% higher. In terms of losers, you have Maharashtra Bank, UCO Bank, Central Bank and Union Bank. Remember, these four were the top gainers as far as yesterday's trade was concerned. Strong moves again coming in on Hindustan Unilever. This is a chart check I want done, Ruchit. 2254. Predictions of a normal monsoon and the counter at 4-year highs, 4-year lows, my apologies. How do you think of it?
I think one should take a contra trade over here. We just discussed a few minutes ago that there is a positive divergence in the stock, where a new low has been in the price has not been confirmed by the new low in RSI. So technically, whenever such positive divergences form, we usually expect some pullback move. So a pullback move towards 2350, I think, could be there in the stock. So at current levels, also, if one is looking from a bit short-term perspective, maybe next 1 month or so, then one can expect, one can look for creating fresh longs in HUL at current levels.
Okay, not an issue there. I just wanted to see the open interest that is coming into HUL. Just a moment. This is one of the stocks that I watch very keenly. HUL open interest is 4.6% higher. Now, this is a fairly significant development. Let's look at the Nifty FMCG index for a moment. What is it doing in terms of price action? Okay, the FMCG index is 0.5% higher, 53,762. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how the market is structured at the moment. There is a fresh move coming into MCX, now changed a digit, 4020. Remember, it's again the wealth and the stock market sect that is doing very well. Amongst exchanges, only two are listed, BSE and MCX, not counting IEX. A view on this commodity space, Ruchit, 4023 now and moving high.
There's no doubt about the trend. You just mentioned that the entire sector, whether we see BSE or MCX, both these stocks, these exchange stocks have been doing quite well of late. And still the volumes are quite high in spite of the stock have seen a good rally in the recent past. So this clearly indicates that the outperformance or the trend which these stocks have been showing should continue going ahead also. Now the immediate short-term support for the stock is around 3600. Until it is trading above 3600, I don't think we should see any kind of a huge sell-off kind of scenario in MCX. So the gradual up move could continue in MCX. We could see some decent gains even from current levels over a period of time.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we'll wrap it up on market today. Ruchit, as always, thank you so much for your time, and of course, the wonderful calls that came in on Cochin Shipyard and the views on Tejas Networks, Idea Cellulars, and many other stuff. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, a very quick wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Nifty is up 55 points. The Nifty 500 is up 1/3% at 20,650. The Nifty Banking Index, third day of gains, now about flattening out, 63 points higher, 47,990. And the IT Index, 1/3% higher, 33,657. Thank you so much for watching us at Market Today, and remain glued to Business Today for all your news needs on the financial side. Thank you so much from my side and from our PCR side. Thank you. IREDA, the counter is trying to open about 11% higher. Sharadji, coming to you first. A strong set of earnings, profit after tax